Me and my boyfriend of 3 years just had our first baby. We're white. The baby is black. I have a close black ancestor, but significant other is furious and accusing me of cheating. We have a 26 female OP and a 29 male boyfriend. Original post October 8th, 2015. As the title says, me and my significant other just had our first baby. We were over the moon when we discovered the pregnancy, and we were both really excited to have a child together. We wanted to get married next year, and everything was going great. We were happy. We both have very white, pale skin, blue eyes, brown and blonde hair. However, my great-great-grandpa was black, and some of his features have popped up here and there in our family. Kinky hair, darker skin, more black-looking facial characteristics. My significant other knows this and has seen some of my aunts/uncles and cousins who have those features. I, however, don't have any myself, and neither does my mom. Our daughter was born 5 days ago, and I guess she just got all the dormant genes in me because she's really dark skinned compared to us with really curly hair. I think she's adorable, but my significant other flipped. He accused me of cheating, that the baby couldn't possibly be his. I've never given him a reason to suspect me of infidelity, and I've certainly never cheated. We argued about it. I pointed at all my cousins and other relatives who have black features, but he absolutely refused to listen, said our daughter looked too black for that to be a plausible explanation. He stormed out of the hospital, sent me a text an hour later that we were over, and when I got home from the hospital the next day, he wasn't there and most of his personal belongings were gone. I tried to reach him, but he didn't answer my calls or texts until 3 days later, when he told me he demanded a paternity test to prove that I was a liar, and if I refuse, I'll never see him again. I'm completely broken down and hurt over this. Our entire relationship has been so sweet and rational. This is completely unlike him. If he had just calmly asked for a paternity test to begin with, I would have been hurt, but I guess I could understand the concerns. Our daughter looks nothing like him. Yeah, see, this is where I'm kind of at. Like, I think he's having a really bad reaction. I am very unfamiliar with genetics, so I could be very wrong here, but isn't it kind of wild that with a great-great-grandpa who is black, and I'm assuming if you are extremely white passing, that those genes have become more and more dormant? Would it make sense for a baby to be able to come out just like completely different skin tone from both the parents to a degree that would result in a reaction like this? I can somewhat understand the reaction, but he does need to listen to the girlfriend. That's what I'm thinking. I can see him being like, okay, this is a little suspicious. I need a paternity test. But I also think he's overly freaking out about this if he knows that there's at least a chance that this is something that can happen with her genetics. It can happen. It's just a recessive gene or something. Short answer, it's complicated. Long answer, it's still complicated. Okay, so you guys are basically saying, yes, it can happen. Because like, listen, I think too, if me and my partner are white and they have African-American descendants, but like they don't necessarily show it, and we have a baby and that baby comes out darker and not necessarily looking like me, I could understand like, hey, I just want a paternity test just to make me not have anxiety about this. And I think that's fair and valid. I hate that shit. I don't agree with that shit about like, oh, every man should get a paternity test. That's stupid. That's misogynistic. That's bullshit. But if there's like maybe a little bit of a question mark, and for you to feel more at ease, the paternity test would relieve that anxiety, I actually think it's pretty okay. What's always wild about these stories to me is how people can do a 180 on their partner. Well, TDD, I think where this might be going is he might be getting cold feet, and this is just a manifestation of him not actually wanting a kid and now having an excuse to not actually have to take care of that kid. If he'd calmly asked for a paternity test to begin with, I would have been hurt, but I guess I could understand the concerns. Our daughter looks nothing like him, but I don't think our relationship can survive this even when I proved to him I wasn't lying. Should I go through the test or just cut my losses here and raise her alone? I mean, I think you should just go through the tests, if anything, to prove him wrong. Also, I think it's important to go through the test because if you guys do end your relationship, you're still gonna want proof that he's the dad so that he can provide child support. The edit on this is I decided to get the test done. I'll update you all when I get the results. I'm still angry, but I guess I understand him a bit better now. There is a comment from OOP where she elaborates on her family history. 4 generations back, my great-grandma and all her siblings look really black. My grandma less so. My mom's generation is the first to have completely white looking kids. I think this is in reply to something that we don't get context for. OP says, and I don't think so. My friends joke that my butt is so big I must have inherited that. but I don't think big butts are an actual racial trait, just more of a stereotype. Plenty of white girls with big booties. Yeah, I don't know if that clarifies anything to me, because pretty much from your guys' chats, I'm kind of understanding that genetics are weird, and like, yeah, is this super common? No, but it is possible with genetics. Don't get me wrong, I understand OP's husband being like, this is a little bit weird and will make me insecure. But I think what y'all are saying in chat is 100% correct, of like, it's all about the reaction. Accusing your partner of cheating isn't something you should just do lightly whenever you feel like it. Don't get me wrong, I think he has a reason to be a little question mark suspicious, but there was a mature way to go about it when giving your partner the benefit of the doubt, when also there's an explanation of the fact of like why it is the way that it is. Update, October 13th, 2015, 5 days later. First of all, I want to thank all the commenters who helped me see my significant other's side and calm me down enough to take the test. Well, the results are in, and of course, she's his. The whole process was absolutely ridiculous. I got an appointment with the doctor and texted significant other the time and location. He didn't answer, but showed up. And the entire time, he didn't say one word to me. And he didn't want to touch or even look at the baby. Yeah, see, that is a little suspicious to me. And left as soon as they'd taken his sample, despite the doctor asking him to stay so we could go over a few things. Once he left, I just broke down. And I must say the doctor was really nice, didn't judge me or accuse me of anything, just calmly went over how the test works and told me babies are often born darker than they actually end up being. Baby was an absolute champ, barely fussed when they drew her blood. I got the results yesterday. I texted significant other the news and asked if he wanted to come over and open it with me. After almost half an hour, he finally responded, yes, he'd like to come over. I'm thinking he either sent it while on his way or he's not staying very far away because he was here in about 15 minutes. Well, we opened it and read the positive test together. He turned white like a sheet and then just started bawling. I had to shush him because he was crying so loudly. And finally, I got an explanation for his flip out. I mentioned in a comment on the old post that he was an only child to his very old parents. His dad died a few years ago, and his mom lives alone a few hours drive from us. I haven't met her often, but she seemed pleasant enough. Turns out, she hates me. Absolutely hates my guts, and always has. I had no idea about this. She's always acted kind of snobby, sure, but I had no idea she disliked me this much. When my significant other called her to tell her the good news 8 months back when we discovered the pregnancy, she started crying. He never told me this. And as the months passed, she continued being super negative about the whole thing, saying she doubted the baby was actually his, I was below them, poor people cheat because they're raised in a fucked up environment, in parentheses, WTF, question mark, exclamation point. And instead of talking to me about this, significant other kept silent while constantly doubting me more and more. Baby being black just put the final nail in the coffin that his mother was right and I was a good for nothing cheating bitch. I mean, listen, does this mom suck? 100%. But like, where's the communication here, bro? Like, if my partner's family member hates me, I need to know that shit. Like, now we're not even in territory of him and his bad reaction to this whole situation, but also this dude wasn't communicating an important thing to you, which is that his mother hates you and is actively accusing you of cheating on him just because you don't come from the same wealth class as them. I think that's pretty important information to have about someone you're gonna marry. After telling me all this, we just sat in silence for a while. Finally, he asked if he could hold the baby. I was still angry as hell, but decided that holding her was his right. He's her father after all. I went and got her from her crib, let him have her, and he started crying again, which scared her, and she started crying too. So they were just sitting there bawling together for a while. Finally, he stopped, handed her back, and asked if he could come home. I was kind of taken aback. I didn't expect him to just flat out ask that already. I laid out everything I said in the last thread, how insanely disrespectful and childish he's been, how he'd horribly broken my trust, hadn't talked to me about his mom's poisonous and ignorant comments, completely ignored me for 3 days, not telling me where he is or if he's even alive, and then he just waltzes in and tries to start living here again. I told him if he ever wanted to have some inkling of a chance of mending the relationship we have, to go to couples therapy ASAP. From now on, he will answer my calls and messages unless there's an emergency. He will not be staying here for a while, and finally, he needs to tell his mom to back the fuck off. She will not be seeing the baby until she apologizes to me in person. First off, good on OP to lay their whole dick on the table. Second, I don't think they should let this mom anywhere near the baby. I think this needs to change to you need to go no contact with your mom and give her the middle finger. He immediately agreed and finally told me how sorry he was for the whole fiasco. I'm not sure if I can forgive him for this, but I'm gonna try. We had an amazing life before this, and I hope that with a lot of work, we can have it again. Significant other also finally told me that he was staying in a hostel, but it's not very expensive, so he can stay there a while longer. Baby is doing great considering how many stress hormones she must be drinking from me these last few days. her hair is falling out, but the doctor told me it was normal, and babies often lose most or all the hair they're born with. I'm hoping her new hair will grow in blonde. That will make her even cuter. I applaud OP for trying to salvage it, especially because there's a kid involved. I don't know, maybe if everything else has been hunky-dory with him, he has a shot, but low-key, I doubt that. If he's a little mommy's boy, not communicating shit to his partner, and like jumping from 0 to 100 without giving the partner the benefit of the doubt, when he should know that there's an explanation for what he's upset about that makes sense. I don't know if that's someone you want to be able to work things out with. I do have to say, when there's a kid involved, I think it's noble to try to fix it. Maybe they can come back to it, but to be honest, I kind of want OP to update and be like, yeah, had to snip, chop that bitch. Maybe it's on his way to have some internalized racism. Now knowing the backstory, I don't know if it really came from racism, but what I will say is he was influenced by a racist individual and allowed that to happen. That's why I'm saying I don't think the mom should be anywhere involved in this. Like, let's be honest. If anybody's racist in this story, it's 100% the mom. So like, I do think OP needs to change it from your mom needs to apologize to your mom is gonna have nothing to do with this child's life ever.